Hello there, people of YouTube. It's Deephack here, and welcome to the DCS News live stream and the channel update. I hope that you all enjoyed that video there of the F-16C tutorial number 6, going over unguided bombs. Hello there, Byron. Hello there, Frantic. I like the way you say first when you were the second. Congrats. So yes, that was the most recent one. I've still been struggling to figure out the best way, hello Dave, the best way to film the helmet-mounted sight tutorial that I want to do at some point. So until I've figured that out, what I'm probably going to do is continue with the air-to-ground munitions, with the next video going to be guns and rockets. The F-16 needs some love. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's still very much in early access, but it's coming along nicely. So I hope everyone enjoyed that video. Please go ahead and give me any comments or feedback that you might have on that one. And without any further ado, I shall now bring on board the one, the only, dotChuckles.
It's too fucking hot. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, yes, exactly. I'm experiencing temperatures that should be settings on an oven, not meteorological conditions.
Yeah, especially when you have Dave syndrome.
Dave syndrome.
Well, when my body hits 34 degrees, you don't want to know.
Okay.
Okay, somebody's never seen Black Books.
I have seen Black Books, but I don't remember that.
It's when Manny gets too hot and he overheats and goes crazy.
Oh yes, I do remember that now.
It's Dave syndrome.
Dave syndrome.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know. No, you don't want to know. So, another week and another DCS news.
Yes.
And we start off, of course, as always, with the DCS newsletter provided by the wonderful Eagle Dynamics. And this week's one is really focusing on the AH-64D.
Yeah, they were putting a fair amount of stuff for that out on Facebook as well. Actually,
they were
the cables.
It was really just like they pulled bits out of this newsletter and then did them as individual posts. But yes, it looks like they're making a bit of progress here, and they're currently preparing the pre-order access for later this summer.
Yeah, so maybe Apache this year.
Maybe.
What do we think?
They're definitely getting ready to take our money.
yeah, they're good at that. They just need to deliver their modules now. So you know, but yeah, the screenshots that they posted are quite nice. Nice stuff. The cockpit is looking really, really good. I mean, it's clear that their external model is a work in progress, but their cockpit's looking nice. So
yes. And the symbology that I'm seeing on the screens, hello there, Mark S. The symbology I'm seeing on the screens, it looks very, very reminiscent of Jane's Apache longbow, which is my only reference here for an Apache cockpit. I've never really seen one in real life.
Yeah, kind of same.
So it looks right as far as I know. Like this font and everything is very, very familiar in the symbology. So yes, this is looking a lot like what I've seen in the past of Apaches.
I'm just Byron in the chat. Pre-orders, yes, no. Let's park that for discussion in a bit. Like noted. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So what is it, in fact, that they say in the newsletter? So an external modelling cockpit are extraordinarily complex and time-consuming. An enormous amount of research and work have gone into making these as detailed and accurate as possible. Special attention has been given to the pilot, crew, models and animations. Now that's an interesting comment. We've not really had much in the way of pilot and crew model animations in the past, apart from the only one that comes to mind is the Gazelle. Well, I guess unless you exclude the F-14. Does Jester actually animate, or is it only when you have a human Rio that he animates?
No, he animates. He looks around and does his thing. I'm pretty sure he does. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, can you see the front seat from the rear? Because it would make sense if they're animating the pilot, because if he's looking around and you can see the top of his helmet doing stuff, then it absolutely makes sense that would be animated.
The cockpits are connected. Like, I can see here that there's no partition between them.
Yeah.
However, I would expect that the canopy glass above you is going to connect with your helmet before you're able to actually peer over that dash. I'd be surprised if you could actually get a point of view, but this is just, I have nothing to base this on other than me looking at a picture.
Yeah, and I think there is if memory serves, there is a pane of glass in between the cockpits.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's to stop,
cheese on your
bird
breath.
strikes and something. But I'm sure there is actually, like, you can't reach over and slap him across the back of the head as much as you might want to.
More's the pity.
Yeah. But I mean, it's always hard to tell with these kinds of shots, because as much as Eagle Dynamics lauded the fact that the A10 cockpit when it came out this is completely accurate down to the mill, and we have measured our ankles, and it's like, we've measured our angles down to milliradian, and it's like, yeah, but you still fudged it for gameplay, because the
HUD,
the HUD and like the position, and everybody was, and there were so many people in the forums going, this isn't right. This is like, you're just wrong. You're wrong because ED are always right and you're wrong. And then lo and behold, when VR came out, oh, what's that? Oh, you moved the eye position because of gameplay? Oh, what's that? Not as accurate as you think? Yeah, okay. So I'm always skeptical when I see these kinds of angles, because they're not giving you what the pilot would actually see.
No.
They're like the kind of default, F1 view is always fudged to be usable on a monitor. It's
and the reality is that we need to be able to see every part of the cockpit that we want to interact with. A real pilot doesn't do that.
Yeah.
A real pilot interacts with so many parts of the cockpit by touch alone, because they're so familiar. Their hands are just in the right places and they hit the buttons. Frantic is asking here, what's the ghosting in that photo? And yes, I can confirm that's the monocle. There's a thing that goes over one eye, and that's what actually produces this helmet-mounted kind of symbology here.
But trying to explain that to fanboys is impossible. That I hate to say it, but it's a game.
Oh no! dotChuckles, what have you done? What have you done?
I know. It's a game, for God's sake.
La. I'm not here. I didn't do this.
Grow the fuck up.
Oh dear. Yes. It's a very good game though.
It's a very good game. Yeah. But yeah, these trying to infer these kinds of things from these shots, it's just impossible. But yeah, the fact the monocle is there, that's pretty awesome.
Yes, it's nice. Although, I guess the K50, which was their first ever DCS level module, had exactly that kind of thing. They had you could actually see when it flipped down and everything, the helmet mounted sight.
Yeah, and even that was fudged for gameplay until VR came along.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had to give you an option to change its angle. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I find it interesting that they've called out the pilot and crew animations. I think that's really, really cool.
I wonder if that hand signals.
Oh yes.
That would be cool.
You don't mean semaphore, I assume.
No, but like I'm pretty sure in close formations, particularly with the Apaches, there's hand signals that they use.
That would be cool. I've always wanted, now that we have hand controllers in VR, I've always wanted your hands to be modeled so that you can, again, flying in formation, you can do like a wave, a salute, point at stuff, I want that. It's pointless.
Flip the bird.
Yes, exactly. I was communicating.
You're keeping up international relations.
Oh dear. That would be cool.
Yeah, no, in typical fashion, we have gone off at tangents. It does look really good, though. It does look really good. I am much more excited for the Apache than the Hind. Don't get me wrong, I have pre-ordered the Hind. I will fly it. I will enjoy flying it. But when the Apache comes out,
I think for our Syria map, Apache versus Hind is going to be epic.
Yeah. Little bit of late 90s, PC flight sim action going on there.
Absolutely.
Apache v Hind, yeah.
That's going to be very cool.
I mean, I hate to, I mean, I'm a fixed wing guy, that's always been my passion, but actually, like, the Hind could end up being my main platform for not the Hind, the Apache could end up being my main platform for a long time.
I actually really like the MI8, and given that the Hind is basically an MI8 with guns, I think I will fly both for sure. And obviously the Apache is a far more advanced machine. The Hind has a paper map that scrolls around under a light as its navigational system. It's not quite the same generation.
So did the Jaguar for a really long time.
Yes.
It's very typical of when it was developed.
That's true. Continuing with the newsletter, they say much of the avionics work focuses on the navigation system and the TSD pages. This is in parallel with, get ready for all these acronyms, IHADS, PNVs, TADS, the area weapons system, rocket management subsystem, longbow Hellfire modular missile system, with the Atrium 114K. Is that the one that's dual mode? I always forget which one is which. I now need to do
I couldn't tell you. All I got there was, integrated helmet mounted sight and pilot night vision system, so...
Yes. So let's have a little look here. And the K isn't even in Wikipedia. Okay.
I think it is. I think you're right. I think it is the one that's dual mode.
Here we go. Semi-active laser variant.
Yeah. So that's the dual mode one, I'm pretty sure.
That is cool if we're getting that one. I'm excited.
Do these are these not the ones that have variable yield?
Oh, now you're asking.
Or am I thinking of something totally different? You can like change the fusing to have like, a little bang or a big bang. It's
external blast fragmentation sleeve. What?
Okay, no, maybe not.
I don't think so. But I don't really know.
And of course, there's the version of it that has swords.
Flechettes?
No, swords.
Like swords?
Yep. Basically, it fires a set of blades, effectively chink, pop out like that, and it just hits the object. Supposedly super classified until they found like the carcass of one after they took out some high value target in Afghanistan, and there's photographs of it and you can see the kind of blades.
Petals. Huh.
Yeah, the petals. So it's designed to basically take like one person out.
Whoa.
Yeah, but not damage anything around it. It's a kinetic kill weapon basically.
That's horrendous.
It's supposedly super classified and doesn't exist until one was found in bits in Afghanistan, and they went, "Oh, okay, actually, it does exist."
Okay, I don't want to know what that looks like after you use it.
Pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty. Yeah.
The aircraft survivability equipment, I think what we would usually call an RWR in any other aircraft, is also in development. This incorporates the radar signal detecting set, my god, and the common missile warning system. I guess it's going to have an RWR and a missile approach warning system. These will be available at launch and greatly increase mission survivability. The flight model is progressing nicely, and we are now developing the flight augmentation systems that include SCAS and hold modes, modelling the T700 GE701D EDECU engine and related systems. Oh my god. Yeah.
There's a lot of systems on the Apache. There's a lot to... I mean, it's pages and pages and pages in the displays,
Oh yeah.
Like, if you love studying manuals, you're gonna love the Apache.
It's but just look at these screens. These are nice, very nice. Yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a toss up between the Apache and the Kiowa as to what might become a main platform. This might replace fixed wing for me for a good long while. It's
totally,
yeah.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, you can do so much with this. I'm of course still really looking forward to the F-16 getting finished, because I feel like the F-16 is really bare bones just now. But hey, hopefully that's coming. So, onwards. The next thing that we had for this week was we had 2 hotfixes. One of which reduced clouds jitter in VR. And they say here reduced the clouds jitter, but actually for me it's gone. Or maybe it's so slight that I can't see it anymore, but it looks fixed to me. I don't know what other people think.
Yeah, I think it depends on the headset, because I have heard so many I've read so much stuff that people say it's intolerable and it's really bad and you can really see it. But for me it's like I've got to really look for it, and I'm wondering if it's a headset or a resolution dependent thing that maybe it's worse with some implementations, because yeah, I honestly never really noticed it.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, you and I, and we both have identical headsets, but very different computers. Yours has a bit more juice than mine has. You were saying that you don't see it at all. I actually saw it a lot, but I'm very good. My brain is a really good signal processor, and I find it quite easy to just ignore things. So I had it bad, but I was ignoring it.
It's also possible that, like in other areas of my life, I'm completely oblivious. So
I don't know. I suspect that your extra GPU horsepower might have an effect here.
Yeah, possibly, but yeah. So I basically I think the point is it does seem to vary from person to person.
Yes.
I've not seen consistent reports of the effect, so it might be that why they're just hedging their bet and saying reduced.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And then with that first hotfix, they had an issue where SSAA 1.5 was creating problems with clouds and told people to use 2. But then the next day, they released another hotfix that then fixed that. So, yes, the SSAA got fixed. I got to say, the clouds in VR, it is clearly a completely different shader than the 2D one. They do still look much, much flatter and less interesting than in 2D. But they don't look as bad as on release day, I would say. They're getting better.
I read something, and I'm it's always a dangerous thing, Jeremy Clarkson. I went on the internet and found this.
Okay, I'm going to turn off your camera now.
Yeah. But I read something that apparently the way the clouds work is, and this is, I kind of read it and went, huh? But apparently they work on a 2D image across the map, and it basically creates the voxels from a 2D map, and then I think sort of adds the elevation or something like that.
That's kind of the only way it could work in order for them to synchronize it. So that makes perfect sense.
So the issue apparently with VR, or what I read, and again, this is not official source, so we're basically talking hearsay and bollocks here, but that's why people watch us. Is that that image map didn't scale when you went up to VR, basically.
Interesting.
So like all your other textures are basically mipping and scaling when you go up to VR, and you're talking about stupid resolutions of 5,000 by what have you pixels. But it didn't in VR. But then it does on super high resolution monitors. So there's something going on, because when you look at, I don't know if you've noticed, when you look at the clouds in the mirrors in the cockpit, they look perfect.
Oh,
like,
that is very
seriously,
interesting.
have there's, because the mirror implementation in VR is garbage. So I wouldn't be surprised if the mirrors are just using whatever the 2D shader is.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So yeah, look at the mirrors the next time, and you'll be like, oh, the clouds look really pretty in the mirrors, and then look forward and go, ugh.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay, that is very interesting. I did not know this. So yeah, beyond the fixes to the clouds and VR, there's not really much else here. We've got a couple of CTD crashes, and in the most recent one, it really is just changes to the SSAA. So
yeah,
but that's
low
good.
update cycle.
Yeah, it's very good to see this kind of stuff, to see them work on problems like that.
There's always a general trickle of updates coming out from ED. You know, it's been a long time since we've just had, like, okay, they've not done anything for months and months and months, and like I think with what happened over the F-16 launch and the absolute rocket that got put up them by the community, I think they've really been trying a lot harder to make sure this stuff is sort of being kept on top of. So
yes,
yeah, positive to see.
It has been good, yeah, more recently. To move on to the next one, we have a little update here from Baltic Dragon with regards to the manual that he's working on for the AV-8B Harrier. So yeah, he's basically just posted a bunch of pictures here of what the manual pages look like. He wanted to share these ETA end of summer, he says. He also plans to update all of the training missions, and he's making good progress on his new Raven 1 campaign and finishing the finishing the A10C Iron Flag. And he'll be sharing more in the weeks to come.
Yeah, so am I right in thinking the Harrier is out of early access?
Correct.
Is it a released module?
It is a released module, yes.
So just to stir the pot,
let's do it.
Why in the name of Crom is the manual coming out at the end of summer?
Well,
it's a released product. Come on, guys. Really?
As I recall, does it have a manual at all? I'm
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I think there's like a little
quick start thing.
Like this quick start. I mean, this is what really annoys me about flight sim in general.
There's this. There's the pocket guide. Yeah. So this is what you get with it. And I don't even know if this is necessarily up to date with the open beta.
Yeah.
I suspect it is not. I actually, for the most part, I use the Chucks guides. But even...
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the somewhat recent eruption on the forums between the Chuck, who is not you, and Razbam, where he was complaining that he couldn't get updated information out of Razbam, and Razbam said, oh, well, nobody asked you to make these manuals, kind of idea. And then there was a great big fight.
Well, that's because you didn't make the fucking manual in the first... Oh, yes. Right. It beggars belief, like, how sometimes... I mean, I know the community can be entitled. I know users can be entitled. I'm not denying that, and I completely say that that's a valid point. But how long has this module been out? How much did it cost? Seriously, no documentation until what, a year after it's come out? And they expect us to pay how much? That, to my mind, is inexcusable. Yes. There's no excuse for it at all. And the problem is that the community sits there and takes it because, oh, well, nobody else is doing it. And it's like, well, it's not really a valid argument,
No, for sure.
Oh, nobody else is doing it. I've still given them my money. I still expect a complete product,
yes.
And fine, I can accept bugs. I can accept that there's problems in development, but, I'd quite like to not have to go and illegally download a NATOPS manual to figure out how to use the aircraft.
I was going to touch on that one, actually. Is NATOPS, in fact, illegal for us to have?
I believe it's... I'm pretty sure they're non-for. Like, I'm pretty sure they're known for. I don't think they're massively classified, and I don't think anybody is actually going to get their knickers in a twist over it. But technically, by the letter of the law, the Dash 1 AV8B manual is probably illegal to own. But again, I if you're outside the US, but I doubt that anybody is actually going to do anything, because I seem to remember that a certain developer for ED actually got arrested because they had documents that the F16.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's
it's a funny one.
You know what? But, Razbam, you make good you make good products, but some elements of what you think is acceptable is really not on, and this is one of them. This really annoyed me when I saw it.
What I'll say is an unnamed developer who makes an X-Plane Airbus also does not provide a proper manual. They tell you to download the what is the Airbus manual called again now? The crew something.
Is it not the FCOM?
FCOM,
yeah.
So they refer you directly to the FCOM because they've basically implemented everything that's in the FCOM. So they say, go get the real FCOM and read that. And I think for a while...
I know who that is.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I know who that is. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything because they're a bit litigious. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually, it's fair enough because in their case they have like fully simulated the Airbus, so like you can just read the real FCOM. And I think for a while Razbam were suggesting a similar kind of thing. They're like, oh, we're not going to tell you how it all works. Just grab the NatOps and it's all there. But the reality is that for a long time their aircraft didn't really conform to the NatOps manual. Like there were a bunch of things that weren't quite correctly simulated, and most of that is now correct. But there are still bits that are not quite right or missing.
Yeah. I think it's just unacceptable for the amount of money that they charge that they don't provide documentation, and if they don't have the time to provide documentation, to get shitty with somebody in the community that gives up their time in order to provide documentation. Out of order. Absolutely out of order.
I have to say that was patched up very, very quickly. I think like the next day they got back in touch with the chat.
Totally, but it should never have happened in the first place.
No,
it just shouldn't have happened in the first place. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Do better.
To play devil's advocate, these images that Baltic Dragon is showing look really, really good. I'm looking forward to the manual once he's produced them. I don't even know what his relationship is with Razbam. I don't know if he's doing this just in his free time or if he's being paid.
I think I'm pretty sure there's a deal here. Like I think he is like the official manual provider. That's how I understand it. I could be completely wrong.
Okay.
But that's what I understand, is that he was effectively, I'm pretty sure, hired to do this. But
that's good. Well, so I just want to make it very clear that none of this criticism is directed at Baltic Dragon.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think it's just, yeah, and I mean, again, to play devil's advocate, I get the argument that, well, the module's being developed, there's no point in documenting things until they're, developed and finished, and I completely understand that, because then you get into a version control issue and, oh God, all sorts of problems. But it's been out of early access for ages now. Come on.
Yes.
Like, the groundwork should have been done whilst it was in early access, not after.
I'm going to quote Byron here because I think he's actually said something pretty good. Byron says, they make great products. I very much agree. And I enjoyed the work, but some of their project management processes could have been tightened up a little, and I think they are now. I think that's a very good point. And I think they have been a little bit disorganized, and they are getting better. Yeah.
But it just sticks in my craw a bit at how much the Harrier cost. And I'm easily triggered.
I've had many, many happy hours of flight time in it, but
absolutely. But yeah,
I'm sure they can do better. Another one that I saw recently was the BO105 PAA. You know what I'm talking about. The PA. I can't even see it. Razbam again with Miltech 5 have posted a bunch of images. And one of the things that they're showing us is the tail rotor link button. on the Collective. So I believe this is a system whereby the whole helicopter will yaw to put the target in front of it. So as you move your periscope targeting system, the whole aircraft will wiggle about. And we've got a bunch of renders of some of the stuff inside the aircraft. These are not in engine, by the way. I believe these are in, what is it called? Material paint or something?
Yeah. Yeah, that's I know the software. The name escapes me. Yeah.
So yeah,
Substance Painter. I think it's called.
That's the one. Thank you.
Yeah. I should know. I've used it. So
some of these images are looking really nice. So it looks like when it comes to the modelling, they're making good progress here. I don't know what stage any of the systems modelling is at this point, but it certainly looks nice.
This is a machine that has had a difficult birth. I mean, I remember this was being teased halfway through Gazelle's early access, if I remember correctly.
I believe that to be the case.
And then obviously there was a whole bunch of politics and the team fell apart. So it's had a difficult birth, but it's going to be, I think, if it makes it, it'll be interesting because it was revolutionary for its time in terms of, a fast light attack scout. For its time, its capability was pretty revolutionary. It was super fast. Was it not for a while the fastest helicopter?
I thought that was the Lynx. Is that not the Lynx?
No, you're right. Yes, it was the Lynx, but I think doesn't this predate the Lynx?
Quite possibly. Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, I think the Lynx took the crown off of this because it just did crazy things. It could do loops and rolls and all sorts of stuff. Like, I want to see the Red Bull aerobatic team use it.
I don't even know. But I'm sure everybody's seen that famous video of it flying through a forest below treetop level.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
pretty incredible. Why are they making a medevac mod? Says Frantic Stone. I thought this was an anti-tank helicopter and a scout. So I don't. Although I'm sure there's a medevac version. Who knows?
Yeah, it carries 6. Is it the hot missiles? It's 6 wire. It can carry like up to 6 wire guided anti-tank missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know what else it can carry. That's the armament that I know of, is that it could carry these sort of quite chunky anti-tank missiles and was pretty deadly with it. But yeah, BK-105 for Red Bull, is that not the civilian version of this?
Yeah, I would imagine so. It's very similar designation.
So this is the military version of the Red Bulls. Yeah.
Very nice. So yeah, we just have some images. I don't really know much more at this stage. I don't know if they actually say anything down here. Posted a few screenshots on Discord. He wrote that this section is now done, thus another box ticked. Yeah, so there's not really much information there. On to the next thing. We have another video from Matt Wagner. And this time he's demonstrating hovering. Actually, it was hover taxi, takeoff, some various bits and bobs in the Mi-24 Hind. Woo! Looking very pretty indeed.
We must be getting close now, because when these kinds of videos start coming out, it's round the corner.
Yes. So clearly the thing can be flown at the present time. So that's that's a thing. Do we have some more? Yeah, let's get some footage of it actually taking off. And he also demonstrated that the internal fan is modelled and can be turned on. Fans of the MI know how important this piece of equipment is.
Yes, that was gonna. That was like when they were talking about the stuff that was going to be ready for release in the Hind. Like, my first thought in my mind was, but does the fan work?
And he has already demonstrated that it does indeed work.
Yeah, because there was such a shit fight in the forum over the fan not working in the MI8.
Yeah.
They learned their lesson.
It's such. I think there was even a point in the forums where Bell Simtech, who at the time were the developer of the MI8, were asking like, "Do you guys really care about this?" And like everybody was like, "Yes." So like, okay, fine. You know, it's not that much development work. I guess we'll just do it.
Yeah, I know. Is it just me, or does the cockpit look so much better than, pretty much everything else?
Well, I think the reality is that with every module that Eagle Dynamics creates, they're upping their game a little bit. Because I remember when I first saw the F-18 Hornet cockpit, I remember looking at that and thinking, wow, that is streets ahead of the A-10.
I know.
But now, of course, we have the updated A-10, which is to a similar standard.
Yeah, and then like, F-14 came out, and
oof, F-14.
What do we call it? Who's a what's it? Brain crashed. Who developed the F-14?
Heat Blur.
Thank you, Jesus. How could I not remember that? What Heat Blur did, that just elevated everything. And, we're seeing the sort of the most recent development here. And that cockpit, just the texturing is, the way it interacts with the lighting is just so good.
Oh, yeah. You've reminded me of something mentioning Heat Blur in their cockpit, by the way. It was a few weeks ago now, but remember when Heat Blur posted up their kind of development plan for their
they posted their Trello board. That's
the one. And one of the elements on that board was something that I had completely forgotten about, but they had mentioned right back at the beginning of development. And this was like a live cockpit condition. Do you remember this?
Yes, evolving cockpits, yes. And each board would have its own cockpit, and
And they do apparently still intend to implement this. And so as you... And the thing is, it's going to be, I believe, by tail number. So as you use an aircraft, systems will become worn. Even the cockpit condition and appearance will become worn. And they're even talking about things like having stains on the seat covers or fabric being ripped and things like that over time.
Have a particularly tricky trap and you end up with some staining on your seat afterwards.
Oh no.
As Jester pisses himself. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, again, sorry, I'm going on so many tangents here. This reminds me of when the F-14 was first released and Jester had a habit of ejecting whenever he thought you were about to hit the ground. And so it was possible to spook him and make him just bail out and you could continue flying without him.
The thing is that happened a few times. I remember a story about I think it was an RAF regiment guy got an incentive flight in the back seat of one of the trainer Harriers.
Oh.
And he thought they were going to go in, and he just pulled the loud handle, and off he went.
Toodle pip.
Goodbye, old chap. You're on your own.
Yes. I think Jester even says something like, "Oh shit, I'm out," or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. No, it has happened in real life, and they weren't. They were fine, but like he basically bottled it. He was doing a loop, and when they were pointed down at the ground and he wasn't pulling out, this guy in the back just went, "I'm off," and out he went.
Oh dear. So yes, I do hope that we see that. But yeah, I guess to get back to the Hind, yes, I totally agree. This is a next level of texturing and modelling from what we've seen from Eagle in the past.
It's so good.
It's very, very
so
nice.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can really overstate how good this looks.
Yeah.
And he's about to turn on the fan. He's about to... Yay!
There goes the fan. Fabulous. I wonder if they're using their new crazy prop technology to constantly
Oh, I hope not, because that seems like a misuse. I want my CPU cycles.
It's using 15% of your CPU to track the fan blades.
I certainly hope not. But there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The fan in operation. The most important component of an Mi-24. Actually, I can imagine it gets a bit toasty in there.
Yeah. That's... I mean, it's NBC hardened, so they must have an air conditioning system in there.
Yeah, otherwise you're just going to cook.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love the way that they've done the NBC as well. You see earlier in this video that he turns a valve that then inflates like bladders inside the what's it called again? The gasket.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just
I mean,
kind of goes.
that's kind of how most sealing system works. I mean, I'm pretty sure even on pretty much all civilian airliners, that's effectively how they seal the door. I think
I didn't know that.
and I'm pretty sure there's like a pressurized door seal that keeps it in. I could be wrong.
Yeah, very cool though. Very cool. And here he shows us taking off from a helipad next to a building. I don't know if this is a hospital or what this is exactly. But yeah, some very, very cool demonstrations here. So, moving on. What else have we got? We have the development report for India Foxed Echo and their MB339. I think there's a picture a little bit further up just to remind us of what such a machine looks like. It's a trainer, an aerobatic aircraft, and they've posted a little image here where they've color-coded the checklist. It's a little bit small. I can't seem to get it much. There we go. There's a little bit bigger. Yeah, they've color-coded the checklist with items that are and are not implemented. So green being things that are entirely done, yellow is stuff that's just in debugging, orange is in the to-do, and red is not applicable. So you can actually see that quite a bit of this is done at this stage.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I'm a big fan of trainers. I think they're good fun. I'll definitely be having a go of this once it's in the sim. But yeah, probably not much more to say about this one.
Yeah, I mean, the aircraft like these are great for honing your skills. I mean, when the L-39 came out, I spent probably about a month teaching myself how to bomb with the manual bomb sight.
We did that together. I remember because
exactly.
You figured out how to do it, and then you gave me tips, and I was following your instructions.
Yeah. And it was like I went and read there was the U.S. Navy bombing manual.
Yes.
Which is out there in the public domain, but it was for the A4. But it described the process of using a Z sled, and you must turn at this point, you must be at this altitude, this speed, and you must release at this, and you'll hit, and you create this triangle. It's a geometry problem basically. And I did that in the L-39, and I could get bombs within 10 meters, manually. But that is now translated that in a modern like the F-18 or the or what have you, I can now fly that attack pattern, pop up, roll in, and hit the target and be gone in the minimal amount of time, and it's down to the skills that I learned in the L-39.
Yes. Yeah, no, I remember doing all of that, and it is very instructional. Even when you go to an aircraft that has CCIP and you no longer need it, flying that approach, using that technique, what you're doing is you're basically reducing the acquisition time. Because if you don't follow that process, then you're sort of maneuvering all over the place just to get the pipper on target. Yeah, it's really, really helpful. So I can imagine some people doing that with this.
I actually have a really interesting spreadsheet which I found somewhere that basically it's a pop-up attack planner. So you have your initial approach angle, and then you have your attack angle, and it will tell you exactly how many miles you need to roll and pull up, and to how many degrees you need to pull up to, and then what you then have to roll and pull down to. So you end up doing this kind of like, you sort of, come up, roll in, pull up, roll over, pull back, roll out, hit the target, and go. So you never actually, apart from the moment that you are like putting a weapon on the target, you never actually fly directly towards your target when you do that maneuver.
And you won't be stationary from their point of view. It's going to be a constant thing.
And there's no way I could do that or actually be able to replicate that maneuver if I hadn't put in the time in an aircraft like this.
Yes. Yeah. It's very, very useful. And I remember when we started the Virtual Air Force, to reference the delicious logo that's on your cam, we had the intention to do this kind of training in the L-39, but we never quite got around to it. But I think that's something we should look at. I think teaching people, like, obviously everybody wants to fly the F-16 and the F-18, but before you get to that, fly something simpler, a bit older school, that requires a bit more of you as a pilot. Get good with that, and then fly the big boys.
I mean, to reference my real world experience, I haven't flown real world for nearly 2 decades now. But I started, when I first flew, I flew gliders.
Yeah.
And then when I translated onto powered aircraft, I intrinsically got it because I'd spent time in a glider, which is about as simple as you can get, in terms of coordinating your flight, in terms of understanding angle of attack. That's all there is to a glider, and you have to intrinsically understand it to be able to fly it. And then when I moved into a powered aircraft, it was like, you could basically skip over about the first 5-10 hours of cool, I get this.
Yes. You developed an internal flight path marker.
Effectively, yeah. You just intrinsically get it and understand it. And I think that if you fly, somebody was making a comment about flying with E6Bs and stuff like that. If you can fly an aircraft on paper using a circular slide rule and a stopwatch, you go and sit in an aircraft with all the systems, you will own that bitch.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good, and that's why introductory flight programs are developed like this in the real world. You fly a little turboprop, then you fly a little jet, and then you fly something that's either like the thing you're going to fly or is the thing.
You see, this is the worrying thing, because since the RAF no longer has a training program, and they've outsourced their ab initio training. Yeah, I know.
Say what?
They've outsourced they outsourced their training to a private company. So their ab initio training is a private company that does it. And I think I could be wrong, but I think even their conversion is done by a private company. I think initial ab initio training is done on some quite advanced aircraft now. So
cool. Okay.
Raw, never been in the cockpit types are going straight into quite advanced aircraft, and that's fine. You can fly it, you can learn, because you're going to get taught how to fly that aircraft, but they're not getting that airmanship sense. They're not getting that kind of just airmanship
feel.
Yeah, exactly, the feel. They're not getting that, because they're getting systems put in front of them that are doing a lot of that. And it's the same in civilian flying. Like the new, was it the MLW license? You're getting you're basically you're basically getting first officers in commercial aircraft that have got maybe 250 hours total training time, most of which was done in a simulator.
Okay. That's surprising.
Yep.
I do remember that the company that I started my flight training in Scotland and then finished here in Sweden. And when I started the company I was doing it with in Scotland, they were doing the Air Cadet flights, actually. So I guess at least some of the Air Cadet squadrons had outsourced that as well, because that was a private company. Experienced flights.
So it seems to be, as far as I'm aware, and I am totally willing to be corrected on this, but from what I understand, pretty much all the flight training is outsourced now in the Royal Air Force. So I think it's supervised by, an RAF officer, but the instructors are civilian, effectively. Although I get the feeling they've probably all spent some time in the Royal Air Force. So it's, but yeah, apparently it's causing problems. But there we go. I guess the world moves on and we don't all start out in a crop duster.
No air tractors for us.
No bullseye, no bullseyeing womp rats in my T30.
Absolutely, yes. and on that bombshell. Yeah, no, I shouldn't do that. That's probably copyrighted.
Yeah.
So that's everything that we had for this week's news. I think we've kind of covered everything. Nothing too exciting, but it was really nice to see the stuff on the longbow. I'm glad that someone's going to correct me now that it's not a longbow. But anyway, the Apache. It was nice to see the images and the update on the Apache.
Yeah, there's exciting stuff coming. It's just we've got to get to it. We're at a bit. I feel we're at a little bit of a lull at the moment. And until the Hind and the Apache comes out, I think it's going to be a bit boring because, the F-18 is pretty much feature complete. And I think it's going to be a while before stuff comes down the line for the F-16. So if you're the type of person that wants new stuff, that wants to have new systems to play with and, get to grips with, if you've already sort of mastered the F-18, I think it's going to be a bit of a quiet time until we get to this stuff,
You might want to take a look at the chat here.
Oh, for God's sake. It's not a tornado. That's our new T-shirt, by the way. DCS News. It's not a tornado.
Not jesting at all. I want us to set up something on Teespring. I want to do a Deephack one, and I also want to do a DCS News one. And the DCS News one will say, no, it's not a tornado.
No, it's not a tornado. I don't know, but yeah, tornado.
We have also apparently, says Byron, missed the G91, the Fiat G91. I didn't see anything about that, so I'm guessing that's a community mod that's coming out or is out just now. So have no fear, Byron. We'll find out about that, and we'll tell you all about it next week.
Yeah, we'll go and do some research about it. That's bypassed me this week, but most of this week has been made of stress and high temperatures, so
it's a little bit toasty.
It is a little bit toasty, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, all of you, I hope that you enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Your support is very much appreciated. Other way, this fine man, dotChuckles, of course, has a Twitch channel, and he streams regularly. And what kind of stuff are you doing these days, sir?
We're still on Valheim. We're probably going to be doing this for a while. Because the way that I stream with another streamer regularly, and basically we just sit and talk crap. And Valheim is kind of a good game for that because somebody has just followed this second because my alert just went up. Thank you very much, whoever that was. It's a good game for that because we can sit and talk crap and build stuff. But we're about to enter into a new series which we may do on YouTube called dotChuckles Has Never Played ... Yes. And the first one is dotChuckles Has Never Played Dark Souls.
You died.
So I think that's going to be quite funny because it's basically going to be sporadically entertaining, tormenting me with making me play Dark Souls. And yeah, we're pretty excited for the new Warhammer titles that are coming out. Imperial Guard, basically. So it's going to be like if you played Vermintide. It's the same kind of idea as Vermintide and Deathwing, where it's multiplayer cooperative, 4 people facing waves of stuff, except your Imperial Guard. So that's going to be quite good fun. So that's probably where we're moving to when that comes out. Very little flight sim content. Sorry, it's
maybe someday.
Maybe someday. I tried doing flight sim stuff. And I just didn't get much engagement. Actually, people didn't really kind of want to sit and watch it because Yeah, there's not so much scope for entertainment, antics,
Yeah,
and
that's
people
true.
who come and watch me kind of watch for the antics and the chats. So, but maybe, yeah, maybe.
Fair enough. And of course, I am doing my tutorial series in the F16, a new premiere every Saturday at 7:30 CEST, followed by this, the wondrous DCS News videocast, whatever you want to call it, stream. So yeah, please subscribe, like, and comment if you haven't done so already. But until next time, fly safe. I'll see you all later.